What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. Time to break down the pass catchers. We're going to be doing wide receivers, tight ends, and we'll touch on quarterback as we're doing that. I'll throw a small DFS spin on that, but make sure to check out the website for my DFS article. Have that up. Feel pretty good about this week. So I'm coming off all my research. I know pretty much all the plays of at least the people who are relevant in DFS. But we'll break down each of these games. If you didn't see yesterday's video, check that out. It was the running backs. So we're not going to talk about any running backs today. Start off, we're going to go game by game on the higher end games and then the lower end games. Talking about Vegas totals. So Rams first. You're starting all Rams wide receivers. That's pretty obvious. Goff's probably going to be my quarterback this week in DFS. So you're definitely starting Goff. You're definitely starting Breeze. You're starting Michael Thomas. If you need a flex play, Traquan Smith is not a bad option. I think he gets a lot of run in this game. But don't be concerned at all about Kupp. He's probably going to be in my lineup as well. I feel very good about him having a strong game. The Saints are the biggest funnel defense in the league, probably, in terms of at least having the best run defense and one of the worst pass defenses. So they funnel all their production to the passing game. So Woods, Cooks, Kupp, all going to crush this week. Maybe not all crush, but they all have a great chance of crushing. At least one of them is going to have an amazing game. And then you're starting the two I said on the Saints side. For the next game, Patriots and Packers. It looks like Geronimo Allison's not going to play. He's doubtful. He's just probably not going to play. Marquez Valdes-Scantling is better than Cobb. So you could play Cobb if you have him, but it's not the best of plays, so I would not play him. I'd play Marquez Valdes-Scantling if you have him in the flex spot, and then you're obviously playing Devonta Adams on that side, and you're obviously playing Jimmy Graham, you're obviously playing Aaron Rodgers. Pretty straightforward game there. On the Patriots side of the ball, we know that Gronk has been hobbled. You obviously have to play Gronk as well, but he's been hobbled. So in DFS, that's going to be the primetime slate. Wouldn't be crazy to fade him. Edelman, for sure you're starting. I would start Josh Gordon if you have him as well, being very involved in this passing offense. But Hogan is meh. I probably wouldn't start Hogan if I had him. So it's basically Edelman and Josh Gordon, the two wide receivers I'd start, and you have to start Gronk if you have him. This game's going to be insane from a passing standpoint. We got Newton is a must start. Pretty much all of his pass catchers are as well. If you have Funchess, you've got to start him. If you've got DJ Moore, you probably have to start him. He's very likely to be in my lineup as well. From the Bucs side of the game, you're starting Fitzmagic if you have him. He's probably going to have a really nice game. I would be hesitant though. If you had another good quarterback, and I'm not playing him DFS because the leash on these guys is just so short. He has a bad game, and they bring in Winston. Winston has a bad game, they bring in him, and it's random. Obviously they're going to have a bad game, but I've heard reports that Fitzpatrick, if he has 2 picks, could get pulled in this game. And if that's the case, I'm not starting this guy in a matchup that really matters. All the matchups matter at this point. So I probably would hold off on Fitzmagic if you have a better option. But if you don't have a really good option, feel comfortable playing him because he's been awesome this season, and that offense has produced per game better than Patrick Mahomes. So if you add up the Winston plus Fitzmagic, it's better than Mahomes has been. So it's that offense is awesome because that offensive coordinator is awesome. For the pass catchers, I would start everyone in this game. Even on the Bucs side, I would start Godwin's probably more of a thin flex play, but I would start DJ because I think he has awesome upside. You're starting Mike Evans for sure, and then Godwin. I think he has a path to 9-10 points, but beyond that, he's gonna need to get in the end zone, and the volume is just probably not going to be there. So you can play him, but more in a deeper league. This game has the potential to be more of a ground game. We already went over that in the other video, that both of these teams are probably going to try and attack through the ground. You're still going to start Watkins. You're still going to start Tyreek Hill, and you're still going to start Kelsey. and Landry. Aside from that, I guess Njoku, but aside from those guys, you're probably not playing anyone. And I would say that Watkins is a good play, but A, he plays better at home, and B, this game might be over at halftime. So if you have a better option than Watkins, I'm comfortable benching him, but I'm not comfortable benching anyone else that I mentioned because I don't think the options are really there to play anyone else. This game is going to be good. I'm really excited for this game. Marvin Jones and Golladay are exceptional plays this week. We know that we like Diggs and we like Thielen because we know exactly where the production is going to be funneled. Well, now with Tate going away, and that's only 7-8 targets a game, but the production isn't just all going to go to TJ Jones. And I think that's a very thin play. Some people have thrown that out there in DFS. Do not play whoever the slot guy is going to be for the Lions. But I think Golladay and Marvin Jones become exceptional plays that you're pretty much plugging in every single week. So I think you got to start those two. I've heard reports, I haven't really looked into it too much, that Diggs is a little hobbled per usual, but you're starting him if he plays, and then you're starting Thielen and nothing else. You can play Rudolph and just pray for a touchdown, but that's all you're really doing at that point is praying for a touchdown, and then you're not starting any of the tight ends on the Lions. So those are all the games over 49. You kind of heard me say there's not very many sits because there's going to be a lot of points scored in those games. These games is when we start to get into the maybe don't go there phase. This game in particular, remember I said in the last video that it opened at 48. It was bet up a little bit. I was surprised. I thought it was going to go down to like 46, and it is trending in that direction. It's coming back down. I think that they're just going to ride Adrian Peterson and be successful at it. And talking about Washington, you're not touching any pass catchers on Washington. I do not care who they are. No pass catchers. And then on the Falcons side, you can really only start Julio. That's it. So the only player I'm starting in this game on the pass catching side of the ball is Julio. And I'm not playing him in DFS because I think I'm going to make like 1 or 2 lineups this week. Probably just one. But Julio is just a guy that, unless he's playing the Bucs, I'm just not going to play because there's too much variance there. But in season long, you got to play him. But nothing on the Washington side of the ball. Even though they're probably going to score 2 to 3 touchdowns, one of them could come from Thompson. You could get them random touchdown from some random receiver they throw out there. You're going to get probably one from AP. So it's going to be an ugly game, probably a low scoring game, probably a brutal game to watch. I would not play any pass catchers in this game besides Julio. We move on to another game that could be more geared towards the ground. We know that the Seahawks for sure want this game to be on the ground with Mike Davis and with Carson and with Penny a little bit, maybe. And then the Chargers are fine giving the ball to Eckler and Melvin Gordon. But if Melvin Gordon doesn't play, this has a better chance of turning into more of a passing game, at least from the Chargers side of the ball. You're starting Keenan Allen. That's it. Unless you want to take an upside shot on Tyrell Williams, there's nothing else on the pass catcher side of the ball that you can start on the Chargers. And then who do you really feel comfortable with on the Seahawks? I know that Lockett, we loved over the summer because we thought he was going to be very involved. He's going to score touchdowns, and that's what he's doing. But it's tough to play him. This matchup sets up well because the Chargers do give up deep production, but you're just praying for a touchdown. So if you have better options, go for it. But Baldwin and Lockett are not guys I feel comfortable playing, so I would bench them if you have better options. Same kind of goes for this game. If you have better options, likely a low-scoring game. We know that the at Baltimore and the running backs, you just have no idea what they're going to do. Something happened outside. Cops everywhere. You know that they're going to split between Collins and Allen and now Ty Montgomery, and then they're going to spread the ball around to the tight ends because remember, Pittsburgh's like the worst team in the league guarding tight ends, and whatever's left is going to go a little bit to Snead, a little bit to Crabtree, a little bit to Brown. So they just spread it out to so many. There could be 10 pass catchers. That's not an exaggeration. There could be 10 pass catchers in this game, and it's not like Flacco's going to throw for over 300 yards. So I'm not really starting any pass catchers besides a shot on John Brown because you could take a shot on him every week because just the air yards king. But you're forced to start on the other side, and just no one else really on Baltimore. But on the other side, you're forced to start Juju and you're forced to start Antonio Brown. It's not a good matchup. I'd stay away from Jesse James and Vance McDonald. I don't think you can really play them, and you're forced to start Connor. So it's the three guys you have to play, and just temper your expectations because this is a Big Ben road game, and doesn't really usually work out. This game, I've already said I'm very excited for. We're finally unleashing Courtland Sutton to the world. I've been saying for a few weeks that he was the second best wide receiver on the Broncos, and I think they realized that, and they're like, hey, let's get rid of this Demaryius Thomas guy who's really not that good. So I'm not starting Demaryius Thomas if I have him. I don't have him, but I would not start him. I would not play him in DFS. You're for sure playing DeAndre Hopkins. He's got a really, really nice shot of being a low-owned option in tournaments for DFS. Probably not going to go there in cash or with my main lineup, but he's in a really good spot. You can start Cootie. I believe he's playing this week. I don't think he played last week. I believe he's good to go this week, but obviously check that. Follow, I believe it's Inside Injuries on Twitter. That's who I follow for all these injury updates. They're the best, in my opinion, at giving accurate information about how people should be performing given their injury status. But it's Hopkins. It's maybe Cootie if he can play, but keep in mind that he'd be matched up with a really difficult slot corner in Harris. So if you have a better option, I'd go elsewhere. But you could play him if you're in maybe a 14-team league, you need a flex. That's probably where I'd play him. But I wouldn't play him anywhere else. I'm not playing Demaryius Thomas. I would play Hopkins. You're definitely playing Emmanuel Sanders. And if you need a flex play, you can play Courtland Sutton. He's very likely to be in my lineup this week on DFS. However, I have to decide between him and DJ Moore. DJ Moore's a little bit more money. And right now my build has Sutton in it. But I love both plays, obviously. But Courtland Sutton. So here, Sutton's not in a smash spot because it's not like the Texans are bad at defense by any means. It's just that who else are they going to throw to besides a little bit to the tight ends, a little bit to the running backs, and then Sanders and Sutton now. So he's not going to all of a sudden get 10, 11 targets, but he's probably going to be in that 7 to 8 target range. And at 3,900 on DK, that's a really nice spot to be in. And even in season long, if you're going to get 7, 8 targets, we already know he's involved in the red zone. We already know he's one of the his ADOT is really far down the field. He's got a lot of air yards. So his 7, 8 targets are much more valuable than Willie Snead's 7 or 8 targets. So that's where not all targets are created equal, and his targets are better than most people's targets. This game already happened. Nick Mullins, was that? I don't remember his name. I think it was Mullins. But he won me money because I put him in the captain spot with Kittle. That was nice on Thursday night. Probably should have played more money on that. But what do we have? 3 games left? All right, these games are gross. These games are not good. So, but no, guys, Elijah McGuire is back. He is back. He's playing this week. He's been practicing for 2 weeks. Finally lifted off IR. They're not going to play Cannon. They don't trust Cannon. Crowell's already got a banged up foot. So, think about this in your mind. He's the healthiest running back on that team. Oh, guys, if you're in we work on a project for Arvin's Python class, and part of our project was to create. It was just use stuff you learned in class. But what we did was we created, based off of combine metrics, athletic scores, and we said who is most similar to other players based on their athleticism. And Elijah McGuire is most similar to Marshawn Lynch. And this isn't through actually watching games. There's no tinkering. This is just based on how athletic they are. Elijah McGuire is Marshawn Lynch. Isaiah Crowell has not been good. He's averaging 2.3 yards a carry aside from his eruption runs. He's been really bad. He's hobbled by a foot injury. There's a real chance that Elijah McGuire goes out there and gets 15 plus touches. So I like him in DFS. Obviously, there are better plays because we haven't even seen him this season. But I've been banging the Elijah McGuire drum for months, and it's finally going to happen this week. Again, he's coming off the IR, but he's been practicing for 2 weeks. So it's not like he was, in a cast last week. I think I think I'm going to play him. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to play him. But season long, you better be in like a 16-team league if you're playing Elijah McGuire. But I think you should all have him on your rosters. But I say this because that is probably the only play I want on the Jets. Xavier Howard might miss, and if he does, that changes my opinion. But there's just no one on that team that I want to play. It would just make people slightly better. But it's a gross game. Elijah McGuire is the only person I'm excited about. And then on the Dolphins side of the ball, you can play Devonta Parker, but it's pretty thin. You could play Akeem. I think it's Akeem Grant. It's something like that. They're using him in kind of that, like, who's a good Gabriel, kind of like the Gabriel role, almost like a Cohen role too. But just kind of moving him around, getting him different looks, different positions on the field, scheming a little bit of plays towards him. Looked like he was going to be really good in their primetime game that they had recently, but it's still a play that you can't really make. So I'm not starting really anyone on the Dolphins, and just McGuire if you're in a deep league. But again, that's not even a pass catching role. This is a gross, pretty darn gross Monday night game. Let's be honest. If you drafted Amari Cooper, it's because you believe Amari Cooper is a good wide receiver. And if you believe that, if you truly do, then you're starting him on Monday night. You just are. I mean, you're not scared of the Titans defense. It's a home game. They want to prove that he was worth a first round pick. He's not. But they want to prove that that was a good trade. You know, like Golden Tate is probably 2 rounds, I would say, better than him. Like, if Amari Cooper is worth a first-round pick, then Golden Tate's worth 2 first-round picks. I don't get it, but they invested first-round pick in him, so they're going to use him. He had a back-to-back bye, so he's as fresh as can be, and he had a little bit of time to go over the playbook. So if you drafted him, like, you're playing him because that means you believed in his talent. I did draft him in some leagues because I do actually believe a little bit in his upside, and he could win you a week. I don't think it's going to happen because that's such a low-volume offense, but that's the only offensive player you can play, or only offensive pass catcher you can play on the Cowboys. On the Titans side of the ball, listen, you can play Corey Davis, but they have a 17.5 point implied total, and they like to run the football. So just don't play anyone. Just avoid the entire Titans offense, essentially. And then avoid this game entirely. I've been trying to decide if I want to play the Bears defense on DK. They're very expensive, though, so I'd say it's unlikely that I end up doing so. But just seeing them at 5% projected ownership against 5-pick Speederman, it just looks so good. But you're playing them at season long, obviously. But there's just no pass catching you want. Allen Robinson's hobbled. Gabriel, if he plays, is going to get Tre'Davious White, probably, since I don't think Allen Robinson is going to play. But regardless, the Buffalo Bills have a great defense, and they're at home. So don't expect much production from the Bears. They're probably just going to run the ball a ton, and this game is going to be painful. Don't watch it. Don't even think about watching this game. There has to be something else on. Like I would rather watch the Jets and Dolphins, which I won't be watching because at 1 o'clock I'd watch Lions Vikings, Chiefs Browns. You got the Bucs Panthers. You know, just watch those games and then watch the mega game, Saints versus Rams. Awesome. And then you've got an awesome game after that with Packers and Patriots. So some really good games in the afternoon. Some really good games in general this week. I mean, look at all this green. All these 55 totals. That's it. You're playing the people on the teams who are going to score a lot of touchdowns. So, that is the end of this video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, how about we hit that like button? How about we subscribe if we're new? Thanks for watching.